So good morning everyone and good morning viewers. Today we tackle about the executive control processes. In executive control processes, it's involved the executive control processor or what is referred to as a metacognitive skills. This process guide the flow of the information through the system, help the learner make informed decisions in the social group about how to categorize or interpret information. Examples of processes are attention, rehearsal, and organization. Now we move to the forgetting. Forgetting is the ability, forgetting is the ability to retrieve or access information when needed. Two main ways in which forgetting occurs are decay, this one, and interference. So in decay, information is not attended to and eventually fades away. So which is decay, for example of decay, ang kanang mawala ra dayon sa imong huna-huna nga maupay pag sulti pero nawala na dayon sa imong huna-huna. So in interference, new or old information block access to the information in question, which is can be proactive new information disrupts old or retroactive old information hinders new. This competition for retrieval can lead to forgetting. And now we move to the methods of methods for increasing retrieval of information. We have here the 8 methods, which is the rehearsal, meaning learning, organization, elaboration, visual imagery, generation, context, and the last is personalization. So in these methods, the number one is rehearsal. Rehearsal, this repeating information verbatim between you, verbatim either mentally or aloud. Meaningful learning, this making connections between new information and prior knowledge. And this one, organization. Organization helps in efficiently storing and recalling information by making connections among different pieces of data. Next is elaboration. Elaboration is adding additional ideas to new information based on what are already knows. It is connecting a new info with old to gain meaning. And the next is visual imagery. Visual imagery entails creating mental pictures of the information. Next is generation. Generation, where we actively produce information, is often easier to remember than what we possibly hear. Next is context. Context is remembering the situation, helps recover information. And the last is personalization. This one, personalization is a making the information relevant to the individual. And now we move to the other memory methods. This one, other memory methods. In other memory methods, we have here the 4 methods, which is serial possession, effect, recency, and primacy. Next is part learning. Third is distributed practice. And the last is mnemonic aids. So in serial position, effect, recency, and primacy, it tells people tend to remember the beginning and end of a list more readily. Number two is part learning, which is the break up the list or chunk, which is information to increase memorization. The third is distributed practice. Break up learning sessions other than cramming all the info in at once, which is the example of this is the mass practice. And the last is mnemonic aids. In mnemonic aids, these are many techniques. Mnemonic aids which is retain and retrieve information. Or these are memory techniques that learners may employ to help them retain and retrieve information more effectively. This includes the lossy techniques, arranges um, lossy techniques, acronyms, sentence, construction, big word, and association techniques, among others. So now we have here the figure of executive control process, including metacognition. So, in this part, we have here the maintenance, rehearsal elaboration, meaningful learning, organization, visual imagery, and the last is generalization. So, in first, we have here the senses. So, in senses is uh, come up to the sensory memory. And sensory memory is belong to decay. As what I said earlier, the decay it fades away in our memory. So example of this is kanang gisugo ka mopalit sa katindahan, but naabot na ka sa tindahan, nalimot ka unsa tong imuhang paliton ug nabalik na pud ka sa imuhang sa tawo nga nagsugo nimo. So nabilong na siya there is sa decay, which is it fades away in our memory. So next is perception. In perception, it covers the short-term memory or STM. So in STM or short memory, na nabilong na siya diri sa forgetting. Which is the forgetting is kani siya mo oy maka-intense kaayo kay kaning forgetting is kanang for example is kanang naakay utang dayon nag wala nakahinumdum nga na dahil kay utang imo nang gikalimtan ang imuhang utang, forgetting na ang tawag ni ana, nabilong na siya sa short term memory. Next to the short term memory is the long term memory. Kani siya mo ay paanpod kaayo murag kanang result sa moong forgetting diri about sa utang nga nalimot ka nga nakay utang diri sa long term memory nga kanang example ani is kung naa kay makita nga kanang tawo dito nimo mahinumduman nga ay naada ko'y utang di ay nimo. So ako ang bayaran na ako ang utang. Nabilong na siya di sa long-term memory o cover siya sa retrieval kay na-retrieve nimo nga ang tanan nga nakita nimo tong tawa nga naaday kay kanang utang diha niya. So that's all my report for this morning. I hope everyone will be learn of my report about the executive control process. Thank you and good morning everyone.